Welcome back. We are jumping right into Chapter 8 of our explainer, covering the Machine Learning for IT Professionals Intermediate Tutorial. The 10-part series from Virtualization Options LLC, that awesome research and advisory group out in Colorado. Since we already knocked out the basics in the previous chapters, today is all about Level 2. We're getting highly practical. We're going to look at exactly how to build, deploy, and actually operationalize ML models right into your day-to-day infrastructure workflows. So if you've been sitting there wondering, okay, how do I actually integrate this stuff without starting from scratch? Well, you're in the right place. Let's validate something you've probably already noticed. Machine learning? It's not just some buzzword on a distant roadmap anymore. The shift is already here. It's literally reshaping how modern infrastructure teams work every single day. We're talking about anomaly detection that can catch a massive memory leak right before it takes down a mission-critical server, or predictive maintenance on storage arrays. These tools are live. They're running in production right now. And as intermediate IT pros, you are in the perfect spot to just grab the reins. Here's our roadmap for Chapter 8. We'll cover how ML is the next layer, the 3 learning paradigms, the 80% rule, core algorithms for IT, and finally, your essential ML toolkit. All right, moving into Section 1, ML is the next layer. So here's your totally unfair advantage. As an IT professional, you already deeply understand complex systems, right? You get data pipelines, robust infrastructure. Honestly, if you've ever spent, 3 hours deciphering a completely cryptic vendor error code at 2 a.m. or troubleshooting a massive BGP routing loop, you already have the analytical mindset for this. ML is really just the next logical layer on top of the skills you already have. The learning curve, it's way smaller than you think. You don't need a math PhD to make this work. You're just shifting from reactive firefighting to proactive, highly accurate capacity forecasting and intelligent alert triage.
Okay, Section 2, the 3 learning paradigms.
Now, choosing between supervised, unsupervised, or reinforcement learning, that's not just personal preference, it is a strict architectural decision. It's dictated entirely by the data you actually have and the specific problem you're trying to solve. Understanding the boundaries between these 3 paradigms is honestly the most critical step in designing your automation pipeline. So let's break down exactly what each one means for your infrastructure. First up, supervised learning. In this setup, your model learns directly from labeled data. You're basically handing the system an answer key so it can learn to spot future patterns. In an IT context, this is absolutely perfect for security and network workflows. Let's say you have a massive database of known DDoS attack signatures. You feed that historical, labeled data right into the model, it learns those exact signatures, and bam, it can instantly classify live, incoming network traffic as either malicious or benign. Next, we have unsupervised learning. This is where things get really fascinating. Here, the model's job is to find hidden patterns in completely unlabeled data. No answer key this time. You just feed it the raw data and let it find the correlations. A huge use case for us is automatically clustering servers together based on their underlying behavior. Why does this matter? Because it lets you spot anomalies without having to manually set rigid, static thresholds that trigger a false alarm every time a perfectly normal backup runs at 2 a.m. The system just learns what normal looks like and alerts you when things get weird. Finally, reinforcement learning. This is where an intelligent agent learns purely through rewards and penalties based on the actions it takes in an environment. Think of this for highly dynamic environments, like an agent that auto-scales your infrastructure based on live performance metrics. It's constantly figuring out the optimal state to maximize application uptime, which is its reward, while minimizing wasted compute costs, which is its penalty. Over time, it gets incredibly efficient.
All right, moving to Section 3, the 80% rule.
Machine learning is powerful, no doubt, but it's not magic. The reality of the job is that raw IT data, your endless event streams, unstructured metrics, sprawling logs, it's inherently noisy, it's inconsistent, it's incomplete. If you've ever tried to parse 10 different formats of custom app logs from 10 different developers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because of that, cleaning and structuring data accounts for a massive 70 to 80% of the total work in any ML project. It really comes down to that old classic IT mantra, garbage in, garbage out. Getting your data clean and perfectly structured is the one thing that separates the models that actually give you reliable insights from the ones that silently and dangerously fail in production. You literally cannot skip this step. As systematic IT pros, you are going to love this basic pre-processing lifecycle. First, you handle missing values. Do you mathematically fill in the blank with an average, or do you drop those nulls? Second, you normalize your numeric ranges. This just means standardizing metrics so that one massive feature, like total bytes transferred, doesn't totally overshadow smaller but critical metrics like CPU temperature. And third, you encode categorical fields. Models only speak math, right? So you have to convert text, like turning HTTP 404 or 200 status codes, into numerical flags so the model can actually process them. But just cleaning the data isn't enough. You have to actively engineer features. Raw data almost never hands you the exact signal you need. You have to build it. This means deriving a distinct requests per second spike metric from raw access logs. It means calculating rolling averages for your CPU to smooth out sudden, irrelevant noise. You might extract time of day features from standard timestamps or create simple mathematical ratios for error rates to see the real impact of an outage. This is exactly where your deep IT domain knowledge makes or breaks the whole model. Let's roll right into Section 4, Core Algorithms for IT. Let's translate these math algorithms into your daily reality. Look, you don't need to master every algorithm on the planet, but you do need to know which tool to grab. Use linear and logistic regression to predict values or binary outcomes, like forecasting bandwidth consumption months out or flagging a sudden spike in failed logins. Then turn to interpretable decision trees and random forests for complex classification tasks, like root cause analysis during incident triage. And save those highly complex neural networks for the really deep, high-dimensional patterns. Think massive log anomaly detection across thousands of containers, or using NLP to automatically categorize support tickets. I really want to leave you with the rule of radical pragmatism here. Always start simple. Complexity is not a virtue in production. A simple, well-tuned decision tree will very often completely outperform a massive, poorly configured neural network. Plus, for IT, auditability is everything. A decision tree gives you a crystal clear if-then audit trail of exactly why a critical alert fired. A deep neural network? It's often just a black box that you can't really explain to stakeholders. Always, always reach for the simplest, most explainable approach first. And finally, Section 5, your essential ML toolkit. Since you're at an intermediate level, you probably already have Python running somewhere in your environment. The modern ML toolkit to start building these solutions right now is actually incredibly accessible, and it revolves entirely around Python. For your standard algorithms, like the regression models and decision trees we just talked about, you'll lean heavily on scikit-learn. It's robust, it's beautifully documented, and it's highly optimized. And when you absolutely have to step up to neural networks for those massive data sets, TensorFlow is still your industry standard engine. So, you've got the foundational knowledge for level 2. You understand the 3 core paradigms, you know exactly how to prep that messy data, and you have the architectural bridge to the actual tools. ML isn't a buzzword anymore, it's a practical, deployable skill set that is totally within your reach. So, looking at your daily operations right now, what's the very first IT workflow you're going to automate? Think about that as we wrap up Chapter 8 of our explainer. We're excited to see you back for Chapter 9, where we'll push these tools even further into deployment. Thanks for joining us.